Dhamma jumdene
Deje ba do jamba yang da ba zu be san ge ri ba da sha su den ba ji den ge ba ji wo do e ka lo ge wa la na me ba pa la me na ge dum ba san ge chun de ge ge wa sha ge tu ba la ja ho lo ju de ge su chi
Dhamma jumdene
Deje ba do jamba yang da ba zu be san ge ri ba da sha su den ba de wa ji den ge ba ge wo do e ka lo ge wa la na me ba pa la me na ge dum ba san ge chun de ge ge wa sha ge tu ba la ja ho lo ju de ge su chi
Dhamma jumdene
Deje java jang ba yang da ba so be sang ye ri ba da sha so de ba de wa she ba ji de kyen ba ke wo du ve ka lo yu du ba sang ye chom den de ba kya wa sha kya tu ba la cha so lo shu de kya su
Zenje o Kanze kanye zo
so ke dam se sa shen de la pom wa dum bo ne ma ne ji den de na shu ji son te se kya ba kya la cha za la nan da ku ma cha do so sa wa yi shen ja zo se ke ron bo ta ba ji de so na ma me wa gong bo shu ni kya la cha za la chen ja den ba chi me da we sha za la wa kya la cha za la du ra kya ja se ba su ma shi nya me ke je kya la cha za lo gong bo tong je che den ba tam je kyen be dum ba bo so na ye de kya su shi de je sha la cha za ha be de cha de wa yu ye we nge so le de ji ji do tu na chu yu ba shi yu chu la cha za tu ne zhe we la yang de la ba tang la ra tu ne xin ye dang ba yuan den den ku yu la yang cha za di ba chi yang mi xia xin ge wa pun song cong pa le xia rang ye san ye yong su du di ne sang ye den ba ye re ma me da ki ma se wa chi wu da mi lan do da zhen da bu de je chen nam je da nga nam di sam je se ba ye ku ma tu ne ge ge da de de ga da na da xi we lao zhu be se be so le zhu wa yu Tige tage taba toje na chunde de gyawa ka chango pumbo re lang ye lang ye gendo chenpo chanjo senpe gendo chenpo dang ta chi do shu te te zi chumde de sammo nang wa shi cha che ke nang dang ye ting ye zi la nyong pa ra shu so yang te se chanjo senpa senpa chen pa pa chen re zi wang shu she ra ge pa ro to shi ma sammo che pa ni la na Pomo nga bo te ta la yang rang xin ye dong ba nang pa ra ta wo te ne san ye ge tu zen na den ba sha ri pu chan ju sen pa chen po pa pa che re se wang chu la di ge che me so ri ge po kang la ke pa ro do chen pa sa mo che pa jo pa do pa de che ta la pa cha te ge che me pa tang chan ju sen pa 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 che re se wang chu ye se dang den ba sha ra ta te pu la di ge che me so sha re ge po mo kang la la she ra ge pa ro do shin ba sa mo che ba jo pa do pa de di da nam pa ra ta wa shi po mo nga bo te da gyang rang xin ge dong pa nam pa ra yang da pa je su da wo su dong pa wo dong pa ni su su东安一千马引东巴尼雷江苏些马引诺的新多错瓦当杜些当南巴些巴南东巴我下来黑达了些堂街东巴尼的千年没巴马给巴马嘎巴去马没巴去马堂街瓦去瓦看我没把我下来不太大为那东巴尼拉苏没错瓦没杜些罗些那没那巴了些巴没米没那瓦没那没姐没路没一没苏没张没去没路没多没给看没把没一给看没一给那巴了些别看给巴多样没多马瑞巴塞巴没巴那嘎西没塞别巴多样没多的心多东啊我当空中我当空巴当拉没也些没托巴没马托巴样没多下来不。海南 Senpa Nang Toba Me Shira Shira Ge Paro Do Chenpa La Teji Ne De Sena Tripa Me Jin Trapa Me Do Chinjo Chinjo Ne Ne Nyang En De De Be Tara Chundo Tu Sun Do Nam Para Shobe Sangye Tam Je Kyang Shira Ge Paro Do Chenpa La Nana Me Ba Yang Ta Ba Zo Be Shang Jo Do Ngom Ba Zo Ba Sang Ge So De Da We Na Shira Ge Paro Do Chenpe Nga Ripa Chenpo Nga Nana Me Be Nga Mi Nyang Ba Da Nyang Be Nga Du Nga Tang Je Ra Do Shi Wa Che Be Nga Nizon Be Na Den Para She Para Sha De Shira Ge Paro Do Chenpe Nga Me Ba Ta Ria Ta Ka De Para Sam Ka De Bo Di So Ha Shari Bo Chang Ju Senpa Senpa Chenpo Te Ta Shira Ge Paro Do Samola La Ba Cha Wo Te Ne Chom Den De Ding E Zen Te De Shen De Chang Ju Senpa Senpa Chenpo La Ba Shen De Zen Wang Chung La Yawa Chin Ne Le So Riki Po Te De Shen No Riki Po Te De Shen De Se Da Ju Ge Tenpa Shira Ge Paro Do Chenpa Samola Che Ba Cha De Te Shen She Ba Nyam Kyang Je Si Yi Rang Ngo Chom De Gi Te Ge Je Ka Zen Ne Ce Dan Tenpa Shara Ta Te Po Namba Senpa Chenpo Pa Pa Chen Re Si Wang Shu Dan Tam Je Dan Den Be Po Te Ta Dan Ha Dan Mi Dan Ha Ma Yin Dan Chi Sa Che Be Chi Den Yi Rang Chom Den De Ge Sum Ba La Ngom Ba Do To Ne Jo Tam Pa Ne Ngo Shu Zu Zhen Nga Wei Tu Do Je Ha Po La Ma Yi Pu Chi Si Ne So Kan Zhu So La Chao Su Do Aka Samara Sa Shadara Samara Aka Samara
Aka Samarada
Sadara Samaraya Deyata Kate Para Sam Kate Bodhi So
Baba Kunjo Sunje Kaya
Dembe Toki Chere
Yage
Kage
Bajam
Pajemi Tobe Choring Eba Tanje Shantin Guru Yeso
Giri
Tondra Gejo Shiwada Mebe Kendang Chewada
Tumban Rupjin Pusuman Sojo Be
Taji Tegan Tende Debe
Oi, Jingam Bora Cho, Ben Zambana, Rinpoche Yeri, Samo Rinpoche,
Lombo Rinpoche, Lombo Rinpoche,
Tajo Rinpoche, Amaga Rinpoche,
Echimbo Ye
Pumpa Gemba Chengwa Ma Duma Kama Medoma Dubama Nasama Jijama Nyema Tawa Rinpoche Do Chule Namba Gyawe Gyawe Uso Lala Mi Pencho Punsun Soba Ma Sangwa Meba Sangshin Yidu Wangwa Di Jen Sawa Dan Gyuba Jebe Bada Nama Tamba Nam Keba Du Yang Yong Zu Tenpe Nga Da Zin Lo Zang Gya Den Jin Je Wang Shu Be Sambo Cheba Sun Shu Sambo Shu Wei Yu Shingan Bu Wan Yu Tu Je Zhu Wei Dun Du Shi Su Su Shi Ne Kyang Da Zo Zhu Wa Ma Yu Nang Ge Ta Da Nyang Be Sen Jin Tang Je Tu Zhe Wa Chen Bu Gu Ne Ge La Du Su Dagi chunyen gibe sunangi chola penchara sangi rupa shu Chudan soge chonan la chanchu padu dani kyabsu shi Dagi chunyen gibe sunangi chola penchara sangi rupa shu
La don la me me don ma je yang mo don ja zin la zo chu ji chao la cha chi ba no song je song ba ra de shi je de ju ju le da shi je dam bi chu ni chen ne de shi la ye ga la no je ga zhong da dong me ye ge nong dong ru wa gun je zhang na je zong ba tam je ge de da ge ju dong do 일단 그래 어느 단다 도마메반에 다대 봐도 고와다면서 동안나 소바지 녀네 에다 대외값 중세 좀 해봐 농아지 낙지 내셔래 인데다 대전 가르쳐버려서나 아니 그러다 파제네 메콤네스데 주집에 가봐봐 가세네 댄소모르도 토바 이나요 주던 백개니 교비신이 너무 많대 다 된다고 뭐게 주제지 마저지 유연의 쇼럽에 동안 용도 거하다 차이 말이
So, all of us, since beginningless rebirth, samsara until now, we have been experiencing all various forms of sufferings without a moment of true happiness. And we have experienced these conditions largely due to many lifetimes being in situations that we do not have the leisure or the opportunity to practice the Dharma. And even though we were born in opportune situations where we had a leisure to practice the Dharma, which achieved a high rebirth, an excellent rebirth, but we did not meet with a spiritual friend. We did not meet with a virtuous friend, spiritual master. Therefore, we were unable to practice Dharma, so we had to continue experiencing suffering within cyclic existence.
단조지 메디토 손제된 마던자 대바지무 개비신이 동체 한 내내게는 그래다 템들 다 몸무진 좀데 감들 근데 주마진나 가두지 근데 이게 봐도 주지 제고 그래 다 주지에서야 돼요 저는 다 sem주주 동야 돼 말이야 셈 인도다 단다 셈 그래 단단히 지금 중국가다 얘나 단다 그래다 지금 중국 도모와서 나래 그게 싸와놓는데 도마네 롱게 셈 선대는 거 원도 줘봐대 봐 주주도네 근데 스마돈 얘기 놓여 줄고 요래 대다 주고 도모는 근데 자대 요래
So, now that we have achieved this precious human rebirth with all its leisures and richnesses, and we have met with the Buddhist teachings, and we have also met the Mahayana virtuous friend, the spiritual master. So when all these conditions that are supportive, conducive to the practice of Dharma, when all these different conditions have gathered at this point of time, if one does not practice the Dharma, then when would be a better time? When would one practice? When else would one practice the Dharma? So therefore, one needs to definitely practice Dharma. And the practice of Dharma refers mainly to subduing one's own mind stream, one's own mental continuum. And here, at this point of time, the teachings the teachings that are common to the practice of the path of the lower being of the lower scope. The very root is of this scope of practice is to change one's mind. One's mind is currently under the influence of the thoughts that seek only the happiness of this life. So it's to change that mind into a mind that pursues the happiness or pursues seeks the benefit of future lives. So therefore, this is the mind changing to the Dharma, becoming the first Dharma practice of this scope. Yes.
Sam 레줌레가단 남이 용의 삼 제네 네 가보게빌레라 주야다 나보게빌레 도야데 다 주게 나내게 통마데 되는 말.
So therefore, at this point in this school of practice, what we're trying to do is to shift one's attention or focus from this life to that of the next life, the future life, to make the interest or the benefit of the future life as the primary focus, one's primary focus. So here, when one seeks the Dharma, to practice the Dharma that is of benefit to one's future life, and here one practice the Dharma that is to be practiced here, the main practice that one needs to adopt or to take up is the practice of observing the law of cause and effect, the law of karma and its results. So one needs to continuously contemplate on karma, different causes and the different results they bring, and the ripening results of various actions that we do. So we need to think of that over and over again, and to hence proceed to engage in actions of virtue and to cease non-virtuous actions. So this is the first Dharma practice, and one. This is the first practice one begins with. The first Dharma practice one begins with in this school.
이말이다. 그래서 근데 게임게 랜드 삼는 주도제야 돼요. 근데 잡선 로에 그랬다. 점들랍지 노네 용도요지. 대연이 다다 지구 중국 감들 근데 점도 제대로거나 내성의 동안에 이제네 근데 될 조비 제도 점도 지기로 와. 이 말이야. 당연히 동안에 조비 제도 잡선 로와라 로연도 거다 다 내성의 조도 거고요. 내성도 매제 탑제고 요로. 예당에서도 매제 탑제용도 디 내성도 제약의 조대 먹여야지 말이야. 인데다 먹여와 공야 보야다. 내게와 두비야 돼. 단다. 좀 릴랍지 노는
So here, one tries to cultivate virtue and to stop non-virtuous actions. And this practice is included within the section of refuge precepts. And during this period of time, one goes to refuge to the three jewels due to fear of rebirth in the lower realms. Therefore, one takes refuge in the three jewels. So when one is doing that, when one is doing this practice of refuge, what one is trying to do is to stop a rebirth, stop taking rebirth in the lower realms. And therefore, one needs to rely on a method to stop the causes of rebirth in the lower realms. And since the cause of rebirth in the lower realms is negative karma, and so therefore one abandoning that negative karma and cultivating opposite of that, which is the cultivation of virtue, that is the practice, the section of practice that is included within that of the refuge precepts.
이말다 대체를 리뷰트에서 enroll에 줘봐라 줘야되나 이 먹여는 주관 주구신에서 한다는 줘야 되지. 근데 될 먹여는 주관 줘야 돼. 대양 렌레라 이신에 봐라 레베. 근데 먹여 게먹여 주도 줘야 돼. 렌레라 이신이 렌레라 이신이네 먹여 보야다. 느껴봐 줘야 돼. 용기 얼마도 렌레라 이 맞히바이나 느껴봐 좀도 용고 말아. 그가 노제는 느와 본도 용기요 말에. 근데 이제 도마 렌레라 이시 때봐 개체기 와라.
So in the root text, we've come to the page 209, bottom of page 209, it says here, consequently, in order to be protected from the miserable realms at the time when you must experience the effects, you have to restrain the mind from engaging in non-virtue at the time when you are creating the causes. So this in turn is contingent upon attaining conviction about karma and its effects. So here, essentially, what you're trying to do is to stop the creation of non-virtuous actions and to engage within virtuous actions. So in order to do that, one needs to have a faith of conviction. One needs to have conviction or belief in the law of cause and effect. if one has that kind of conviction, then one happily goes about accomplishing virtue and restraining from non-virtue. If one does not have that kind of conviction about karma, then one would not have that much interest or actual engagement in such practices of cultivating virtue and restraining from non-virtue. So therefore, firstly, one needs to achieve conviction in the law of karma. No?
Nimba Sundanda Lady Damji Tava and then really she is a pache as a Judas Chimatoni Lotemba or Sima David Top Tembase. Young, it's a mother with Top Tela, Temba and Jubi got them by Jambro Jomada, David Damji Tava, she is a pache basi, Yodeake, that Jamruko de Sonsene, Danda.
So here, when one looks at the outline of the text, here, relying on the means for achieving happiness in the next life. Within that, there are two sections: firstly, training in going for refuge, the excellent door for entering the teachings. And then after that, there is the second section, which is developing the faith of conviction. That is the root of all temporary happiness and certain goodness. And so it comes to this section, which is page 209, which refers to developing faith of conviction towards the law of karma.
Lendre cher sambada, cherada sambada, samnen judo chazo los. Imberta lendre cher sambada se de le kanake de dunjezo cher sambada. Cherada nida chudu bala. Namiyon de jedo de beten cheba chenje tomna. Sajo chea yung yoyendu di jimde sambaji. Da samne judo chazo senyendu endanda Reda gave out to the Babo. Ninga says the Bala, Topsi Shabachaya, and the Sonimar, some you don't have.
So then, developing the faith of conviction. The faith of conviction that is the root of all temporary happiness and certain goodness. So here it says the second part of the explanation of how to achieve happiness in the next life, of developing the faith of conviction in karma and its effects, consists of reflecting on karma and its effects in general and in detail. This becomes like two. Okay. So generally meditating on the law of karma, and then the
reflecting on particular karmas.
Reflecting on particular karmas and having engaged in that reflection, then engaging in the entering into the practices of virtue, and then abstinence from non-virtue. So here,
Chudubala Namiyon de Jenje, Tenji Guares, the Chumayana Saju Chimuyore, the Namiyon de Jetel Rubiala, a teacher Saku Yoro, the day Jim de Samate, Cherada Sambachi.
So here it says, if one achieves a rebirth, a excellent physical basis with the 8 types of ripening, possessing the 8 qualities, the 8 ripening qualities, with such a physical basis to practice the Dharma, then it becomes more beneficial.
So the reflecting the particular the karma. So that is the if one so that expresses the achieving the 8 ripening qualities. So if one is able to achieve this human body qualified to 8 ripening qualities, then it is much easy and one can make great progression in the exercising path. And so for in order to achieve that, then one has to create the cause of those 8 ripening aspect qualities. So that's so that's what is contained in this reflecting the particular karmas.
Yes.
Samne judo chaso los da. Tombolen de cher samba telanyon, cher samso nguton soso che de samba was. Da cher samso so yan de la ni le kana kari na yo le de soso nge bare se ya. Ene pe che ba. Ma de ba de me ba de ba chu me za wa se je yo yo. 소소 때 삼바세 네 게임게 소소 chen ene 메게 왔죠 ene 티인데가 임바르 텐데 사미아다 ene 게 왔죠 티인데가 사미아 아데 소소 때 삼바세 약시.
Also, Rinpoche mentioned before that so there's one explanation here that's missing in the English translation, which caused all the confusion. To page 210, it says here, this explanation is divided into, in the text, Tibetan text, it says it's divided into three sections. Firstly, the actual way to reflect in general. Secondly, reflecting the distinctions among the varieties of karma. And thirdly, having reflected, then engaging in the entering to virtue, entering and abstaining, or entering into virtuous practices and abstaining from non-virtue. So here, Rinpoche says, having contemplated, reflected upon that, and actually engaging in the practices of virtue and abandoning non-virtue, and if one sees the non-virtue that's one created, then purifying that through the confession, through the 4 of the 4 powers, relying on the 4 powers. Then Rinpoche moves on to the next sections, which says the actual way in which to reflect in general. And here, the general way to reflect on karma and its effects entails 4 points. Firstly, the certainty of karma. Secondly, the magnification of karma. The karma increases, magnifies. And then thirdly, not experiencing the effects of actions that you did not do, in the sense that one experiences only the individual results of individual actions that one engages in. Each action that one engages in, then that the actions you have done do not perish. So these 4 points. So then one reflects on the 10 non-virtuous actions, as well as their ripening results, as well as reflecting on the 10 virtuous actions and their ripening results. Yes.
심진야가 집안에 노세바 넘바도 되는 집안인지 탐진네 오게빌레 사바는 종은 오게빌레 대원중은 내매다. 소와도 왜 남아지 동안 다는 라좀 주지 집안인지 탐진네 오게가 사바는 종 게빌레 대원중은 내매다. 그런전도만 오게가 동안 대중연도 탐지도 열린데로 탐지도 제와근 대화다 지송소소 이말다 랭에스 엔도 주게와 제발아 때네 대반 중앙 해바래 대래는 동안 중앙에 내바래 내마임 매개와 제발에 대반 동안 중앙 해바래 대래 때네 대반 중앙 내마래서네 대답은 그러다 내도 내마임만 첨비 또 무슨네 된된 제약에 제약에다 손지 연대는 야용요래.
So then here, in the bottom of page 210, the certainty of karma, it says here, all happiness in the sense of feelings of ease, whether of ordinary and noble beings. Even the slightest pleasures, such as the rising of a cool breeze for being born in a hell, arises from previously accumulated virtuous karma. It is impossible for happiness to arise from non-virtuous karma. All sufferings in the sense of painful feelings, including even the slightest suffering occurring in the art's mind stream, arise from previously accumulated non-virtuous karma. It's impossible for suffering to arise from virtuous karma. So here, when one needs to understand what is regarding the certainty of karma, one needs to understand that which arises, the result that arises from relying upon a cause, which is an virtuous action that is being performed. When one performs a virtuous action, as a cause, the result that arises in reliance upon that is definitely a result of happiness. So that's definitely a ripening result of happiness, and it's impossible for it to turn to ripening result of suffering. And in reliance upon the cause of an action, which is a non-virtuous action, if one performs a non-virtuous action as a cause, in reliance upon that, the result that arises, is definitely a result of suffering, and it's impossible for a result of happiness to arise from that. So here, one is certain. One needs to make sure what is that which is certain, which is the ripening results of these actions, as well as what is impossible to arise from these actions. What is impossible to arise as a result of these actions. Yes.
그래다 소화되라 내가 동아 동념선에 소미요 여러와 yende는 난다 심바세 소화 심바세나 소화 내와 소미요리 동의는 맞아서는 소화 동안의 소미요리 대니가 봐봐대 다 내도 공연문게 동념바 된다 소미요리 인자다 소화 내와 타나 롱 다 차비체 윤도거나 롱스바노네 시주주 된다 저게 내와 연주 근데 저게 왔다는 정도야 그래다 대용한다 그래다 조민년대 왜까불라니요 차 조노 중중지 정나요 대용은 대변대변 말에 인데다 섬전야와 바데 먹게와 다 먹게와 또 신문 보네 남이 이제 냐와 뇨야지 자기 여러 근데 제도 다 먹게면 되면 뇨되게 여러 이나요 참래 그래다 롱스바 된다 르다 포바다고 용서야 이 말이야 대가게 대화된 인조 안에 좋게 왔지 된다 좀 말이야 다 라디오만 영어 많이 봐보 다 그래 저도가 탐지 본선 말이야 이나요 단다 구수대 사진년에 본부 차디요래 근데 인자 원용한다고 용서기요래 원용한다고 근데 동아 중중된데 용서기요래 근데 대요 점무게와 되는 좀 말이었어 송요래 근데 무게와 단다데 요말 와데 이나 그런 거만 소수지 내가 무슨 레사야 디 인드버 조병
So here, when one talks about in the teachings here, it refers to that every individual being can experience different kinds of sensations or feelings, those of pleasure, those of suffering, and those of equanimity. That means those that are like in between, they are neither happiness nor suffering. So here in the text, there's a certain word called simba, which here refers to the experience of pleasure. And so then there's the experience of pleasure, and then there is also the experience of suffering, and the experience of equanimity, which is neither happiness nor suffering. So these three types of sensations. So here, for example, when one is experiencing heat, on a very hot day, when one is physically in a very hot surroundings, then if there were to come an actual cool breeze, suddenly come a cool breeze, even that is the something so insignificant as the cool breeze, and even those beyond that, something beginning from something so insignificant as a cool breeze on a hot day or in a hot environment, even that is a ripening result of virtue. So that kind of pleasure, insignificant, minute pleasures, beginning from that, all other pleasures all are ripening results of virtue. And if one is physically in a cold environment, and experiences a little bit of warmth, even that some pleasure so insignificant as this, and pleasures beyond that are also ripening results of virtue. So it is in general the hell realm beings, they are born within the experience of ripening result of rebirth in the hell realms as a result of very powerful negative actions that they have, non-virtuous actions that they created in their past lives. So in general, they experience continuously the ripening result of suffering as long as they're within the hell realms. However, once in a while, they experience like a cool breeze in the hot hells. They may, even while they're continuously experiencing suffering, occasionally experience a draft of a cool breeze, and even that is considered as a ripening result of virtue created in the past. And also it says here the arhats who have abandoned totally, without exception, all of the afflictive emotions. They have abandoned all the negative causes, all the negative causes.
The cause of sufferings.
The cause of sufferings. And then so here, when they're experiencing that, but however, occasionally they still experience some, however, because their physical body is still considered to be the contaminated aggregates, so therefore, occasionally they experience headaches, So this is said to be the ripening result of past negative actions in the past that brought upon this physical headaches that they experience. So even that is said to be something so minute or insignificant suffering as that is said to be the ripening result of negative karmas. Yes.
동아 중반이나래 년주때는 중반이나래 동아 강가로 먹여왔다는 중반에 다들 남미지 부모 가와 두고 열세나 능년로다 두고를 대중년로 탐지도 나 개와도 받을 때는 년로 탐지다 제와 근데 대화다 얘는 개와도 받을 준비 년로 공모 사도 매 공모 간지 있나요 대주 그래다 개와 대요도 추진 고요지 네 대라 때는 다 제와 근데 대화다 제와 성에 간지 전에 많이나 대가가 대화 중요하대 개와게 지기 오래서 소위 말
So if one engages in non-virtue, then it is the cause for all sufferings, various kinds of sufferings, gives rise to various forms of sufferings, especially the ripening results of rebirth in the lower realms. And if one engages in the actions of virtue, then they ripen the result of rebirth as humans and gods. So the ripening result of happiness. And the reason for that, so the cause for that is the practice of morality or ethics. So reliance upon that, then one achieves various ripening results, even the excellent basis for practice of Dharma. All these are ripening results of these positive or virtuous actions.
이 말이다. 대화도 동안 그래네 대목에는 중요하지. 다 저러가 가지게 있나다. 대화 동안다. 높진 지대 가리 있나요? 그 주멜에 좀 말이스. 주고 말했으니 용이어리. 나 된대게 유명한 돈이 준 거지. 요 가리 넘주 가리나요. 그래다 제조선이지. 요래서. 근데 뒤 주의치는 중벌에서. 조젠다요 말이서 게임게 되니 조금 말해서 되니 저로부터는 연결. 대전의 가지게는 소워서 다 도와서야 제도와서야 된대 요래서 이제. 요 가지게 사원주 침을 제버렸어. 그래서 원주 침뭐 뒤 로이와 원도 동서 그런 게 삼는 거지 또 하지. 근데 이제 좋은 삼도 원하니 강가 연결해서 된데서 되게 연결해. 이제 가서 줄라 되게 다 빠져는 거. 뒤에 된데 따와 요새로 하는데 되게 좋은 거요. 되게 원도 마동하지. 다 줄에 좀 말해. 줄때요 아니 대도님 못해. 게임을 좀 많이 못해. 이 반이에 거요.
So, in general, all the happiness and suffering, all these comes from virtuous and non-virtuous actions, and so there are the non-Buddhists, the outsiders who suggest that the absence of karma. They suggest that they posit the theory that all the happiness and suffering within the world come forth without any causes. There are no causes of that. For that, they say that the worlds as well as the environment as well as the inhabitants, the sentient beings, they come from what we call a primal essence or a divine creator. They posit what we call a general, or in Tibetan it's ji or zo, like the main or the general, which is
universal principle.
Okay.
So, manifested by the universal principle, they believe.
So it's manifested by the universal principle. Jizo, universal principle.
Creation, everything's creation of that.
Creation.
And then so forth in Mahadeva, so forth.
Yes. So as a manifestation of that principle, universal principle, and there is no causes outside of that, beyond that. So, and some posit what they call the Mahayishvara. Wangchu Chenpo, as Rinpoche says, here in the text is translated as a primal essence. And this particular divinity is said due to the thoughts in the divinity's mind. Then whatever that is conceived within the mind of the divinity, then these materializes into existence. So therefore, these are the stand. This is the stand of the non-Buddhists. What they, how they see the existence, materials, the beings, the karma, actions, results come into existence. So they do not posit any actual karma in that sense. So from the Buddhist point of view, we say that the ripening results come from the imprints of causes in our mind streams, and so in this way one needs to understand that experiences of happiness and suffering come from virtuous and non-virtuous actions. So one needs to achieve a certainty in regards to this.
Jumele Jumares and Yentizuni, Jogo Mares. Joyoina Danda, Majin Don, and Sujimanda Moboyo Dengezo, and Suzu. And it read the Suji Deveris. Samanombo the Suzu is here. Kodori what in the Tongiori. The legend and the Jumele Jevares, she got.
No, no,
Pickles.
Because feather.
Colors, different colors.
Yes. So there is, for example, the way they present such theories is that they mention things like who creates the roundness of peas, who creates the sharpness of thorns, and who creates the colors within the luster of the peacock's feather. And so there's no one who creates these, so therefore these have arisen without a cause. So this is the position that is the theory that's posited by the non-Buddhists.
다 주면에 제가 요마래 주면에 제가 있나 내가 그게 그 제야 될 주고 매요 있나 네 뒤다도 요요마 차되고 그러 봐 근데 레신노나서 그 주매요 있나 다 가되이나 그 요요마 인다단다 삼례 맞아야 돼 가르치고 올세나 주체기 와라 주제 소용도 제기 와라 주제 마서가 가나 쟁매버려. 그 링가 요라 링가 매바데 가리지기 요스나 그 주제는 되듯이 뒤지기 요라. 근데 텐데스는 좀 매네 지기 요이나 요나 가디나 마제와지다 요나 제제마 되고야 저게 좀 요라. 근데 텐데스는 좀 매제나 좀 요래 텐데도 좀 매제 지금 말이야. 요거래서는 두고
신도. 하고. 그냥 기계가 되고 교환도 네.
유초자 유여자는 유유지 선박기 유메디 마지야디 감리기 상을 마지셔라 장자 기고라 상을 마지야디 그래서 유초마서 유초자 기 맞게 가지고 나서 맞게
제가 교회 기회 그 맞게 하면 네
유메디는 그 뒤에 기계도 되거든 저는 나는 기야냐
교회 기회가 기회는 기대 교회 기회
유메디
맞게 하나 그들 기회가 되고
저는 그 뒤에 기계도 되거든 저는 나는 기야냐
맞게 하면 맞어
저는 링가 제기 요라.
맞어
삼삼의 제 삼들 맞아야 돼 가리셔 그래. 근데 저 소용도 제버려.
맞어
주마서 그거나 맞이버려.
맞어
주면에 제 용요나 가드이나 요요마.
맞어
이거 그래. 된 주가 로좀에 거 그래. 나나 유관도야 돼 주의 제기 그래.
So this is a philosophical debate here. So it says, since the non-Buddhists, they say that phenomena arise without causes, as we mentioned before, roundness of peas, sharpness of thorns, and the color, brightness of the colors in the peacock's feather. And so, because they say that all these have arisen without a cause, if they have arisen without a cause, then what would have happened that if something arises without a cause, either it is, for example, like a tree trunk, you know, a tree trunk, it grows.
So like this, if phenomena exist without cause, then what Rinpoche is saying that then there wouldn't be this the fruit from the trees. They come sometimes do not come. So that's because there's a cause. So when they say when you meet cause, when there's a cause, then the fruit comes. So because there's a cause, so the fruit. So therefore, sometimes there's no fruit, sometimes there's fruit because there's a cause. So if there's no cause, either there's no there's no fruit coming at all, or the fruit should be there all the time. If in the case if there's no cause, then either there's no fruit at all, doesn't exist at all, doesn't rise at all, or then there should be always fruit. So these two mistakes would rise. So on the basis of the philosophy, see, because they use this example, the pickle's feather has different colors, and the sharp thorn and the round, the beans have shape round. So they think you see, who created this? There's no cause. So on that basis, according to their philosophy, then this was mistakes would rise.
Number so the on to so le reta de do ganga chigi wa yina reta mentu bi jole da mentu bi de to yim beson no chagi wa wa and the on so de tanda devan ju yo yina on so lo yo wa devan ju yo na on ju de wa do ring tu ba yina ne telim 동안 좀 미시면서 너 차기래 다 대인도 될 동안 용 중요 대반 중요도 레멘드 비줄에 레멘드 비제 대비서 너 차기래 이제 레멘드 비줄에 레멘드 바 제야요 말이 대면제 좀생 가르세나 나도 다 슈마바인도 거나 몸바바 세로가 마도 슈마데는 몸만 주고 말이 더 로바인도 거나 몸바바 세로가 얼마도 몸만 주고 말아 다 멘트바네 르베 멘트바진 주고 요나 레네 로바바 되게는 나공 차고요 대한 어제 반레 따와이나 딘 데마제요 파트 마타면도 조제로야 다고 멘트바는 멘트바 정말이나 된데서 제고하다 대제면도 와 대매제와 인도 다 렌트비 주고 와래
Yes. So Rinpoche had mentioned before is that the fruits growing on trees have arisen through causes. If they have arisen without a cause, then the fruits, there will be two possibilities. Either the fruits are there all the time without going through a growing process, or the fruits simply do not arise. Either they are there or they are not. So there's nothing in between, no such thing as a fruit in the growing process. And why do we? And so the Buddhist debate is that we see fruits growing, and how to explain it. So that has to come about through causes and conditions. So therefore, phenomena comes about through causes and conditions. Otherwise, they will either be totally existing at all times, or totally non-existing at all times. There will not be anything in between. So. Phenomena are, and then the next stand it says here about phenomena being created by a divine creator, or a principle, universal principle, or a primal essence, it says here. So if these arise from this universal principle, or Maheshwara, then it will be equivalent of saying that so in general we say,
is one thing, the universal principle is another thing. It's not
okay.
One thing. It's not both. It's not one thing.
Okay, so it is. So these two. So here Rinpoche is talking about the primal essence, the second one. So if anyway, Rinpoche says that it's writing for either of these two. So when one says that in general, from the Buddhist viewpoint, we say that the result needs to be coherent with the cause. It has to be a coherent type. Related to the cause. If it's not coherent or not cohesive with the cause, then that is like a cause producing a non-cohesive result. That's a result is totally unrelated to it. So, for example, they say that the God or the primal essence, it rises the thought of, it gives rise to thoughts in its minds. Then, due to that, then these thoughts materialize into existence. So the God gives rise to a thought of happiness, and it produces the result. However, the results that we see within the existence of cyclic existence, within our existence, then there is happiness at the same time. There's also suffering. There's happiness is also suffering at the same time. So therefore, this is what we say a result that is not cohesive, conforming to the cause. So when we say that a result conforms to the cause, and that if it's a virtuous action, it has to produce a result that's related to it, which is that of happiness. And if it's a non-virtue, then it produces the result of suffering that is corresponding to it. For example, Richard said about if you light a butter lamp, then the result should be, if you light a butter lamp, the result should be the room lighting up, the darkness of the room being dispelled. So that is like the result of lighting the lamp, coherent with that. So if the result is not coherent with the cause, then through lighting the lamp, then that would not light up the room. Instead, you would turn into the darkness of the room. Yes. So a non-conforming result producing a non-conforming cause producing a non-conforming result, then that would be an instance whereby if you light a lamp and then that produces darkness, so that is impossible. That is impossible. So this is the Buddhist viewpoint. So then if that were to be possible, then it would be like lighting a lamp to produce darkness, or planting rice and then harvesting peas. So therefore, it is impossible for a non-conforming cause to give birth to a non-conforming result. Disharmony. What did you say? Concordant. A concordant cause giving rise to
similarity. Opposite to similarity.
Opposite to similar.
Similar.
Whatever. No. So therefore, all phenomena arise from causes. The concordant result produces a concordant cause produces a concordant result, and this and it is impossible for a disconcordant, non-concordant. Concordant result. Yes. Okay, so it is impossible for a cause to give rise to a discordant result. So, in a sense, for example, if one engages in virtue, then this definitely produces the concordant result of happiness. And if one engages in non-virtue, that produces the concordant result of suffering. Because if there's a negative action being created, it is only right that the ripening result, is concordant in the sense that it is a result that is a negative result. And if it's a virtuous action, then it's a positive action, then the result is a concordant one of a positive result.
대제용 나죠 개반나 소바 에네 단다 메개반나 소바 된대jel라 되네 제인 거요래 제발 중세 좀만 좋은 좀 거요래 대야다 개바 드르라 아니 대바 또 제종다 대바 주rin동다 요 링가 데라 링가 동아면서 노 된대 인유유요라 된대 제발 나서 어디 가를 때는 정말 세나 조개와 싸동게 온게 나도 제종데 주rin동 된대 용요라 대가 너지 먹여봐요 대노지 용요라 인도 드르베 대도기 제발 나서 봐 대요 저 게메기 제발 나서 봐 되는 중앙 네바레스 제자 마세 제발요 줌레 마죠 네바레스 다 된다 삼네 근데 줌레 메도가 네바니에 손나 다 멜바스 그 제발 때는 대반 중기래 대반 동안 중요해요 말에 대반 중요하들 멜바레 내가 롱어레스네 멜바지 대노지 먹여봐래 동안 중기래 중화시에 봐도 내가 롱어레 될로야요 말에 세네 네바니 레네메도 네바니에 손나 다 되는 전에 너무 손집에 용다고 따봐 세야 되니 이 말에 어다 된데게는 대바대 같이 탐지지 잡아 있어 말
So here, when one is practicing, when one sees, when one understands karma, then one also needs to understand that the varieties of the various karmas, ripening karmas, whether it's the virtuous, the ripening results of happiness or suffering, all these come from virtuous and non-virtuous karmas, and the various particular types of happinesses and sufferings that arise individually. It says here, without even the slightest confusion. These arise from various particular instances of virtuous or non-virtuous karmas. So the various ripening results of happiness come from various different kinds of virtuous karmas. The various ripening results of suffering come from various kinds of non-virtuous karmas that are created. And these in terms, for example, the different types of ripening results firstly depend upon what instances, under what instances are these karmas being created, how powerful were these karmas when they're being created, and for how long was the virtue being performed. So these then decide the different types of ripening factors of happiness. Then also, so therefore it depends on how the karma is being created. Then the result that arises is also likewise. So also this also is the same for non-virtuous actions. How different types of non-virtuous actions ripen different types of results of suffering. And these depend also the power of the non-virtuous action when it's being created, how long it's being created, and how it's being created. So these various factors determine how there are different types of experiences of suffering. So therefore these are these are all very, very clear. It says here without even the slightest confusion with regards to the various particular happinesses and sufferings. So when this happens, then one understands this, then one comes to achieve what we call a certain knowledge of the definiteness or non-deceptiveness of karma and its effects. So here, one understands that certain kinds of karma. Oh, jeez! It says here when there's a positive karma being created, then one is certain that the ripening result is that of happiness, as no other possibility of anything else arising from that, such as suffering and so forth. And also, when one achieves a certainty with regards to negative karma, then one understands that other than when there's a non-virtuous action, other than the ripening result of suffering arising from that, there's no other possibilities, such as happiness is arising from non-virtuous actions. So when one understands that, then this is what we call the correct viewpoint for all Buddhists, and his praise is the foundation of all virtue. Yes. This is the first view, beginner's view of Buddhists.
Right view. The inner beings, inner beings, the pure view. The first pure view.
Yes.
Tawadela, Nomasum Tawadela, Jideme Yonda with Tawas, Jida, Jiden Devi Yonda with Tawas, Ninja. In the Nandela, and Jideme Yonda with Tawas, and really Deba. Nendemilongi Bitawatela, Jideme Yonda with Tawas. Da Jiden Devi Tawasena, Tony Tobitawa. Tela, Jiden Devi Tawache. In the Danda, and then they Yonda with Tawase and they Jideme Yonda with Tawa. That's it. That they mena Ren Chukona Yongi, Vanamda Chiche to Yakabores, Jessa Mesa somebody. That then is in Yero Chevena, and the Jenda Kanga, Tale Largo. The senior Tenzo Kalani, senior Tempe Payon Madame Nimita so Lendel Ichi Tebayona, Equal Lamson, senior Tenzo Jaya. They had no Tanjo called the Samayina, Jumdela, Ichi Tepatembojoyina, could Jumadova Tanjo Tobja Mevat. In the Joycon in Yekawasiato, Jechu Jos on the Yungerwa. They had no Jamro Namdaji Yunya Lion and Jamdu Payonda. The Jesam you do, Nedeling by your near the Yona, and the Jamro Namda Yungere. And in the Ta Kabuchu Kunji Shenga, so the other 10 days.
So here, this is the understanding or the certainty towards karma is praised as the correct view for all Buddhists. Here, when we talk about the pure view or the correct view, here there are the two classifications of correct view. One is that of the worldly, and that which is the transcendental or beyond worldly. The worldly correct view is referring to the view of karma, right understanding with regards to karma, and the transcendental correct view or the beyond worldly view. What beyond worldly correct view is that of the view of emptiness, understanding of emptiness. So, if one does not have this understanding of this worldly correct view, a correct understanding of law of karma, it's impossible to achieve any pure, determined certainty towards any dharma in general. However, if one has this correct view, correct view towards karma, then all the other dharmas are easy to accomplish. For example, when one comes to the section of relying on the virtuous friend, then one would be able to give rise to realizations or be able to practice that proper reliance on the virtuous friend. If one comes to the section of the precious human rebirth, if one has a stable faith towards karma, then one will understand that the precious human rebirth did not come about without causes. Then one can understand how rare it is with regards to its causes, the causes that one had created to achieve this precious human rebirth. So therefore, the certainty, if one has stable faith towards karma, then that understanding is easily achieved. And also, when one practices refuge, if one has a certainty towards karma, then one's practice of refuge should be made perfect and so forth. So therefore, this certainty, this correct worldly view towards karma is important. Yes. And therefore, this praise is the foundation of all virtue. Yes.
Le percheva yes. Le kana karina yoko chunjunjili chemanayo, Drevachimbochigre. Le percheva, Legewa Chun, Drevada Chivanjona, Lemega Chun, Dredon Shin Jumi, 나한테 준비 좀 팬다가네 새로지 준비를 매도 이제 새로 나는 주중중에 저거 침모 제야 되는데 요요 봐 얘는 나한테 준비 좀 팬다가 새로 준비를 말했어 정말 이제 나는 배라네 신 내려다서야지 그래서 내려대 상황들라 용가르게 소지 마도 요말 용가르 삼지 다 용가르 삼데 담내고 용신의 제용도 거나 대 야기 오라 신당 납자사 야도요 근데 침부차게 오래 세 줌레라 되게 페리오드 나한테 줌레 텔레 좀 펼치기래서 좀 내려온 게 배들을 숨으리
So then next we move to the next section on page 211. Here it says the magnification of karma. So not only does the ripening results of virtuous and non-virtuous actions, here which it says white or black actions, not only do these actions ripen into the results of happiness and suffering, the karma, these kinds of karma also get magnified, they increase over time. And this kind of increase of magnification, it says here, in a way that even small causes, small karmic causes that are created, they can produce over time great results, great ripening results. So therefore, this kind of this way of magnification or growth or increase cannot be compared with any external growth increase through small causes producing great results. Externally cannot be compared to this kind of internal karmic growth. So it is said as a particular kind of tree, and that tree, that its seed is only like almost the size of a mustard seed. However, when one plants this particular seed of this kind of tree in the ground, then eventually when the tree is fully grown...
The name of the tree is Nayatuda.
Is what?
Nayatuda is a particular tree.
The
name of the tree.
Nayatoda. Nayatoda tree. So when you plant that seed, then when the tree is fully grown, it is said that its shade can cover 500 horse carriages. It can cover 500 horse carriages. So
the branches can cover.
The branches can cover 500 horse carriages. So therefore, this is an external, even something like that, which is like an external example of a small result producing a small cause producing a huge result. Even that cannot be, if that were so, how much more it would be so for an internal process of karma, a small cause producing great results. So this was said by the Bhagavan Buddha. Yes.
대형 솜내에서 뭐다 솜스네 좀된 내게 다 솜바 그래서 솜스 송야 대제 더 자주면서 누이치네 냠부 누이자다 솜스야 되는 말이 나 내놓는 대형 솜내 내가 중에 제배 좀 직된 발은 직진도 공부 좀 제조돼 공발솜에 도지노 손남 중의 제배 좀 직된 발은 대지 동제다죠 제조돼 그러나 분서 멤버신 시에송소 이말다 내가 중의 제배 있나요 딘노그 말해서 통중제야다 제야 말이 가르세난 네 내가 중요지이나 이제 바로 센된 바로 이제 다 시급값서 엔텔라테네 이제 과지 모임 그래 풍조지 모임 그래서 제 풍조세야다 몸도 거지요래데 감데다 동안 몸은 그래서야노 어떤 데 말이 가르세나 콤발송에 도지노 고베노나 또 중요지 송바이나요 대에서 소노야게 내가 요래 내가 너지 되고 중중이나 돈주 제조 말이스 내가 너지 내 개와 중중지 손놈 중중 제배 좀 중중지 마도 매나요 다 될래 제리요 말이스 야서 너지네 야기요 말이 손놈 충분히 나는 싸고 가르스나 이제 바로는 로가 되잖아 대네 내가 지금 이래 이제 뒤에 빼 가르스나 그래다 그런 번좀 member이스 누파 답인데 성원 중요지리요 말이 고민도 거나 엔데വും 보통 요리 대대 지발에서 성원.
So next, Lama Tsongkhapa quotes from the text called the Collection of Indicative Verses. As this said that these verses were composed by the Bhagavan Buddha himself and were collected by the Arhats into a particular text called the Collection of Indicative Verses. So here the verse says, like a poison that has been ingested, the commission of even a small sin creates in your lives hereafter great fear and a terrible downfall. So here, so it says that when there's a small negative karma, one should not look down upon the potential of that small negative karma and ignore it, you know. And so one should avoid it, and one should not ignore it, thinking that it won't bring much harm. A small negative karma at the time of death will be when the future life comes to us, or moves on to the future life. That small negative karma will generate great fear within all of us. So therefore, one should avoid that. So here there's a particular word here in Tibetan called pungzhuo, and which it says that there are many ways of understanding that word. However, here in English it says a terrible downfall, and Rinpoche says here refers mainly to suffering, and one experiences many sufferings. As one comes to experience many sufferings as a result of small negativity. So therefore, it says here like a poison that has been ingested. So Rinpoche says even if a poison is powerful, even a small amount of poison ingested can be life-threatening. You know, can kill a person. So therefore, it is this is the comparison analogy for a small amount of negative karma. Ripening is a heavy result of suffering, and also if one has a small amount of positive karma, you know, then one should not ignore that either. One should put effort into creating it, because here in the verse it says, "As when grain ripens into a bounty, even the creation of small merit leads in lives hereafter to great happiness, and will be immensely meaningful as well." So therefore, in future lives, one experiences great happiness due to that small merit that one created. So therefore, like grain planted, if one plants like small amounts of grain, however, one can harvest into a bountiful, harvest huge bounties of grains, you know, due to the small amount of grain that one has planted. So therefore, one should not ignore even small amounts of positive virtue.
By having committed small negative karma, beyond from this world, there will be great fear, and here in the English book, terrible downfall. But this means what is saying in Tibetan, the pungzhuo, great, terrible, great loss, great, terrible, great loss, pungzhuo, loss.
이말다 다 내가 중요 제발에 어느 동안 좀 용거야 레번나다나 지우던 라오세야기서는 된지 라바지나 근데 대인남이 레벨라 제왕가지 봐도 지우 제바 낸 거야 된다서 말아 대답 엔다나 산재에는 제바지 좀 좋았어 뭐 지바 야 제등에 rab도 좀 제 총요 말아 제게는 된지 제용도 다 다 손재인데 내가 쓰다 제바 담라서 삼양서 대다 개요 말해서 제용도 거나 아니 주 주를 제 주근 거는 행동 진보자 되게 다 행동도 하고 잡는 거는 이 나자도 레바다 차다 나도는데요 된대 준비도 줘요 그래서 그게 저도 중요지 마도요 말이데 근데 동아 침분용요래.
So sometimes, even through very minute negative karmas that are being created, one comes to experience great amounts of suffering. And here, for example, if one calls another person a name, like saying, "Oh, you're like a monkey" or something. So through the ripening result of that is that one achieves 500 rebirths as a monkey. In one's future lives, one will have to experience that kind of ripening result. And then the Bhagavan Buddha had placed restrictions upon monastics cutting branches or destroying trees. So then in the
by ordained person, not just anybody, by ordained person. The things that guru cannot cut. So by cutting that, the plants grow.
So not just monastic, but ordained people cannot cut plants. So one particular ordained person had done that at one point of time, and thinking that this would not doesn't matter. This restriction that was set by the Buddha did not matter. So then, and when
it is too strict, Buddha made it is too strict. Buddha made the rules too strict, or thing like that, and then this doesn't matter.
Thinking that Buddha had placed overly emphasized, this restriction was too strict, and so then went ahead and cut the plant. Then, as a ripening result of that, he was born as a serpent, and then there was a tree that grew within that serpent's head. Then it had a lot of leaves, and whenever the wind blew and the leaves rustled, then it caused great pain within the head of the serpent. So in this case, one can see that even through a small actions, small causes, one can reap huge results from that. Yes.
다자가 돈바 담을네 패드 가블라 근데 부니 제모제지 돼요래 그 칼라속이 요새네 텔라니아 놓지 돼요 이 말. 나좀 내는데 내가 소년의 표현이요. 소년 표현을 가블라 근데 부니게 당연히 소년 부동세. 코로나 칼라속이 그시 돼요로. 다 되네 텔라바고냐 키지 좀 내는 소년 부인이 있어요. 제대로 공가고 가버다 telai eso no reg marwa sam eso yo me ne magaso ene chibo de ya 동생 너 부가 로드고나 수보 총이 냐고요 말. 그 부 중요도 마 중요 제가 기획하는 제 양자지. 에 동생 너나 다 tel라. 소녀이 예스 푸르. 근데 된 나나마마 tel라 때네 요단데 동생 너야 푸니엔 그런 주전형에 매서 아쇼가서도야 대차고를 취지자고 덮침보 되는 좋은 말. 부야 그거 전에 내년에 대가블라 높진 덮침보 되겠지. 얘도 대 초전에 권익에다가 잠은는 초된 제바지신 거를 쓴 거를. 근데 해야 되다. 주중주 텔라도서야 그거다. 근데 때는 저 자치 뭐 용요.
确定忙了想呢？
제발.
7-8지.
10 minutes.
So also, likewise with positive karma, even a small amount of virtue created can also ripen into a large ripening result of happiness. During the time of our founder Buddha, there were two children playing by the roadside. They like playing with sand, and like make-believe game. They sort of like said that they were making food while they were playing around with sand. So then the Buddha came along on his round for alms, and so then the two children were playing with sand, saying, "Since we made food and Buddha is here, we might as well offer this food to the Buddha." And so they wanted to go. They went forth and wanted to offer the sand, which they believed to be food, to offer into the Buddha's bowl. And this was stopped by Ananda, and the Buddha told Ananda not to stop them from making this offering. So the child with the sand in his hand went forth to make offering. However, he's too short in his stature, and so he stood on the shoulders of the other child, and went up to the Buddha's begging bowl and offered the sand into the Buddha's begging bowl, thinking this is food. So as a ripening result of this offering, he was reborn as the powerful King Ashoka, who was a powerful Dharma king, and the king who protected the Dharma. And then the other child, who was the support, whose shoulders he had stood upon, eventually was reborn as a powerful yaksha spirit, a harm giver. And through his assistance of this powerful yaksha, then King Ashoka was able to build 10 million stupas. And so this is a ripening result of, this is an instance of a huge result, ripening result coming from a small cause, small virtuous cause. Yes. Then also there was once a king called King Nalendra, and who had power over the 4 continents, as well as half the power of ruling half of the authority over the heavenly realms of the 33. So generally the realms of the 33 are considered to be ruled over by the king of the gods, Indra. However, this King Nalendra has so much powerful karma that he even possessed like half of the majesty or power of the King Indra, ruling over the 33 heavens. So here, how did this come about was that in the previous times, when Buddha Kashyapa came to this world, this king was a child who was holding beans in his hand. Then he threw these beans, into the Buddha's begging bowl, as the Buddha passed by as an offering, and 4 of those beans fell into the Buddha's begging bowl, and one bean landed right on the top, the top brim of the Buddha's begging bowl. So as a ripening result of those 4 beans that fell inside, he achieved the karma to rule over the 4 continents. As a ripening result of that one bean that was sitting on top of the rim of the begging bowl, then he came to possess the power or control over half of the 33, half the authority of the entire control of the 33 realms. Yes. Deva realms. Yes.
이말나 다 지중국 가나네 잠로 잠리 랍지 나네 랜데지 이말 된데 용요 이말에 다 된노제네 지분 랭이 잠로 제네 딜랍지 코네 다 지중국 가나 지분 랭이 가나 타바 타바 거기 동안에 전에 타바 토비 체도 잡선으로 요로 이제 다들 거기 동안에 좁고 요로 잠로 될라 되네 거기 동안에 좁아라 다 거기 동안 시발 체네 대본제제 남라바송나 랍고야도 자기 요로 이제 대요 잠리 랍지 노네 타바 토비 탑 두야 자기 요로 대가 나오지 집에 침을 남 잠로 제용도 거나 그런 제 생제 담지 그래도 고베 동안에 이제네 근데 손제 공부 도바자비 제도 잠로 제기 어려워 딜 나오잖아 그런 제 생제 동안에 줘야 되나 탑 가르고 요르세나 다음에 탑시 손대 잠선 된 거야 다 된대 제도에는 집주면 남제를 맞춰서 딜 납지 거는 내용이요 말에 대레제도 잠로서야 돼 중종면 말 거자치 모임 말에 딘나는 안 남용도 되어야지 의미적이고 돼 말에 대레제다 그랬지 잠로서야 단다 나도 개발을 제대로 거대네 남만 저지 성지 저지요서야 잠로 연락에서 너무 많이 봐 잠로 남무지 용도 돈 손대니 개치 모임 말 이제 된다 삼내는 잠로 쳐야다. 다 잠로 중반이나 그래다 지금 중이 잠로 도이나 그러니 넘어선 왜 고추 용기거래. 내게 잠로 중반이나 나 그래니 탈비 다바도 이제 로제 용 그래봐. 대한 이제 단다 지금 친구 잠로 쳐야나 대게는 이제 너 돈이야. 된다 제용거래. 된다게 팬용요대하다 예어단다데 디디비용하나요 잠로 덮치주지 뭐지 근데 용대 제야나요 잠로 되는 손남패 손남고 온게 용대 거나서는 제용하다 기반만 냠바다 된데 녀도 손제 공부도 봐 소요인데 잠로도 개 첨부 되네 근데 잠로 야부제야다 대쇼라는 랜데 제야 그래서다 그렇게 제주인 말이
So when one is cultivating practice of refuge in accordance with the lower scope, then one here the precepts of refuge is to observe the law of karma, to abandon non-virtue and to cultivate virtue. When one is practicing refuge in regards to the practice of the middling scope, then the precepts of refuge are the is one in here when one takes refuge due to the intention or due to fear of suffering of cyclic existence. So therefore, one is trying to free oneself from sufferings of cyclic existence and achieve liberation. So here, we go for refuge to three jewels to protect oneself from the sufferings of samsara, and here, hence, the precepts of refuge in that scope is the practice of the three higher trainings. So firstly, knowing the suffering of samsara, then going about to engage in the practice of the three higher trainings. Then when one practices refuge within the scope of the being of the highest scope, then one is trying to protect, seeking protection from the fear of suffering of samsara within oneself and others, all sentient beings included. And in order to seek protection from that fear, one strives to achieve Buddhahood. One goes for refuge to the three jewels with this objective in mind. And hence, when one practices that kind of Mahayana refuge, then the precepts that one needs to observe is the cultivation of method and wisdom, the union of method and wisdom. And so here, one can see that one can practice refuge in regards to these three scopes. There are the different precepts to be observed when one is practicing refuge at these three different levels. Therefore, the practice of refuge is not a small practice. It is a very vast practice in which the entire path and the three scopes are totally included within this practice of refuge alone. Generally, we tend to recite refuge verses in the beginning of any virtuous practices, such as I go for refuge to Guru, I go for refuge to Buddha, I go for Dharma, and so forth. However, when one is reciting these verses, one should not see refuge as a branch practice. One should see it as the main body of one's practice, not as something as like a branch of the main body. However, one should see, on the contrary, one should see refuge as being the actual main practice, whichever practice one may be doing. So here, when one is taking refuge in the lower scope, then one is entering into the door of the Buddhist teachings. When one is taking refuge in the middling scope, one is aspiring to one's liberation from cyclic existence. When one is taking refuge according to high scope, then one is seeking to accomplish the accomplish the purpose of others. So therefore, this is how one takes refuge. Also, one receives these different benefits through the practice of refuge. Also, refuge is also a powerful practice for the purification of negative karma and various types of obscurations. It is also a powerful practice to give rise to the various kinds of realizations, the various kinds of qualities. One gives rise to qualities due to an increase in merit. So therefore, one can do that, increase one's merit through the practice of refuge, and hence increase one's qualities and ultimately achieve Buddhahood. So therefore, one should practice refuge well as observe the law of karma. And therefore, hence this is the most important practice of all. Yes.
and channel tebaji and no channel tebaji chumbayina tanda da jebayina da jojege sonyor watende ne da chena ni chono chibo yongere nga ga yongere sunyare sono da chena da nga to ga re ga jeba yongere tende yindu konju batena channel tebaji no.
So that here, Rinpoche intends to leave the text at this point, at this verse, because it's a auspicious verse. It says here, as when grain ripens into a bounty, even the creation of small merit leads in lives hereafter to great happiness, and will be immensely meaningful as well. So, so please, whatever you have heard, listen to these past teachings, please apply them to actual practice. As Lama teacher said, you will be happy, and I will be happy. So therefore, we should all be happy and then put into actual practice all these teachings that we have listened. Yes.
Temba tembe nimbo chubon jere je dong nimbo tuja ge jojo lamjere ma se de ande ne ronje some jula je ya je ge mo la ja yin na ne tel la ba me ade da tende je ya je yong wa sho je wa je che ge je to ba sho sam sam je mo na jo.
And so as a dedication for these teachings, one should dedicate all the roots of virtue in this way to the benefit of all sentient beings, especially to the long lives of all these spiritual masters, and for the increase in the teachings, increase in spreading of the teachings, especially here the essence of all the teachings, which contains all the entire 84,000 heaps of Dharma, the graduated path of enlightenment, for this teaching to arise as realizations in the minds of all of us, So there's no better dedication than this. So one should dedicate and pray for these realizations to be, for it to happen, and then to also make the determination for it to happen. So therefore, one should dedicate this way. This is the best and dedication of all. Yes. So here, Lama Tsongkhapa also mentioned that all the bodhisattvas in the previous times have made many different kinds of prayers. However, when one condenses all these prayers, essentially they are directed towards the increase or the spreading of the teachings. So therefore, therefore Lama Tsongkhapa also dedicates his roots of virtue to the spreading and increase of the teachings. So therefore, we should do in accordance with this custom of Lama Tsongkhapa. Yes.
so
Chu Di Jabo
Sangha Be Chezo Namba Pe Wadan Gege Zema Shi Wadan Tunge Ma Tsangwa Yo Nadan Shengi Tozon Dan Zhewe Sonye Laden Yawa Lo Zang Chua Ba Yin Den Ba Yu Ba Yu
Last night, at the end, so this section where the actual refuge is the Dharma, the rare sublimes, the Dharma jewel. One will each of these one get liberated from the sufferings, from the fears. So the ultimate, the Dharma jewel, even that at the beginning stage of the practice, then one abandon the mistakes during that time. Gradually, each mistake one abandon, and then each quality one achieve. So one develop like that. So so here Rinpoche mentioned. So at this stage, you see the like abandoning ten virtue or practicing ten virtue, so forth. So each quality you develop and each mistake you abandon. So here at this beginning stage, that this is not actual Dharma, but similar. The Choguncho Jitumba, so similar to the actual Dharma. So that's what the beginning Rinpoche explained. So at the very end, the Rinpoche again emphasized, Rinpoche said that at the very end yesterday, so this, at the beginning stage, the abandoning each mistakes, and then non-virtue, and then so practicing each quality, developing. So Rinpoche said, this is Chogunjore, this is Dharma jewel, this is Dharma rare sublime one. So what I'm correcting here is at the end there was a word, the actual Dharma. So I think some people noticed that there was a become contradictory what was mentioned before and at the end. So it did not mention the actual Dharma. So this beginning stage, abandoning its mistake and practicing developing each quality. So like so Rinpoche said that this is Chogunjo Re, didn't say Chogunjo Ngue Re. So this is the Dharma jewel, but Rinpoche already mentioned before at the beginning, it's not not actual Dharma. So it's to but I think some people noticed that there was contradictory. So, of course, Ishigyasu did miracle as a translation, of course. Like a beyond from ordinary power, is capacity, see, miracle translation. But just that's more than to say clarify. Then I think. The Wangchu is the Mahashura, is a Pacific, is not just divine creator, but a Pacific name for Mahashura. So the universal principle is not prime material essence, but the Pacific name. Pacific